Have the years been unkind to us? Is empire in decline? There are records of your journey into Maiden in year 26 of your reign. You're gonna tell me what happened there.
What is up, everybody? Jeremy Ice and Fire here, and welcome to the channel. With episode 3 in the books, we are now taking a look ahead at episode 4. And it looks like things are continuing to heat up within the Cleonic Empire. Just as Demerzel begins to struggle with the paradox of her programming, we see Day set out on a quest for answers. And thanks to the events of episode 3, with Song being unceremoniously ripped away from Day, and this brand new preview we have of episode 4, it certainly seems like all roads are leading to Maiden. The episode 4 preview starts off with the current Day going to visit the hologram of Cleon I, in hopes of seeking some information about the earlier years of his reign. As we then see the hologram of Cleon I switch to a younger version of him, one that looks more like the current Day. Yet when the hologram of Cleon I sees the current Day and the state that he is in, he wonders if the Empire is in decline, as Day assures him that they are still alive.
You may have overstated the resemblance. Is empire in decline? Empire lives. For now.
As Day then proceeds to ask Cleon I what really happened during his journey to Maiden, as the scene then ends.
Wish you luck. There are records of your journey into Maiden in year 26 of your reign. You're gonna tell me what happened there.
The show certainly seems to be setting up an interesting storyline surrounding Maiden and the history of it, as multiple of our characters' paths seem to be heading there. But what exactly is Maiden, and what makes it so important? For starters, Maiden is the home of Day's once girlfriend, who has recently just been taken away from him, and it resides many levels below the surface of Trantor, and is known for its seclusion. In the book, its inhabitants are all bald, and is made up of descendants from the planet Aurora, which was an Earth-like planet that was colonized by the Spacers in 2065, and was home to both Spacers and robots alike. But after the fall of the Spacers, the survivors then settled on Trantor, where they established the district of Maiden. In the books, Harry Seldon is actually the one who is taken to Maiden to see the micro-food farm, where he is given a book on their history, and thinks that it might be useful in his research into psychohistory. And through the book, Harry learns more about robots, and starts to believe that there might be one that still exists inside the Sacratorium, the main temple of the Maiden culture. A robot that not only might still be down there, but one that we may have already seen in the Season 3 trailer, along with other clues that point to some of our characters heading there. But unfortunately, with Harry gone, could we potentially see some kind of flashback of his trip to Maiden in Episode 4, or at some point later on in the season? Apart from being isolated from the rest of the planet, Maiden is also known for their religious aspects as well, as they are known to worship robots. But based on this new preview of Episode 4, and some of the scenes in the Season 3 trailers, it looks like Day himself is going to be traveling down to Maiden, to not only look for answers, but to potentially look for Song as well. And it looks like he may run into a little bit of trouble when he arrives. Based on some of the scenes in the Season 3 trailer, there are a few shots that could potentially point to Day escaping the palace and heading to Maiden, starting with this shot here of him in the soldier's uniform. We saw in the previous episode, Day had set up an entire plan with one of his soldier friends to help sneak him out of the palace, which is where I'm guessing he gets the uniform from. However, his conversation ended with the hologram of Cleon I. I get the feeling he did not get the information that he was seeking, prompting him to go in search of it himself, as we see multiple different shots of him in the trailer donning said armor. And I'm really enjoying the design of the armor as well. The wardrobe department and the general aesthetic on Foundation is second to none when it comes to sci-fi series. But it doesn't look like Day makes it out of the palace unscathed, as we see this shot of what appears to be him being confronted by somebody else also on a speeder, with the confrontation ending with Day shooting said person, which begs the question, who exactly was this? Was it just a random guard that he had to get through, or someone a little more familiar? Whatever the case ends up being, it appears Day does make it out of the palace, as we also see this other shot of him on the speeder heading into the lower districts, likely on his way to Maiden. And while I do believe Day makes it there successfully, it appears he is not met with a warm welcome, as we see these other shots of what appear to be Day being held captive, potentially down in Maiden. And I think it's going to be interesting to see what kind of information he uncovers when he's down there, and I get the feeling it's not all going to be good. After all, not only do we see him being held captive, but we also see him pleading for the future and for the danger that is coming.
Everything is going to end. She is the only one who can stop it.
Which is likely referring to Gaal being the only one that can stop the coming darkness. It seems at some point along the line, Day starts to take the predictions of psychohistory a little more seriously. But whether or not he'll be able to convince the people of Mycogen that the threat is real remains to be seen. There's also the question of what really happened to Song, too. I have to imagine a big portion of Day's motivation for coming down to Mycogen is finding out the truth about Song, and if her memories really were erased, or if something worse happened to her. It also appears that Day might not be the only one visiting Mycogen after all, as we also get this intriguing shot of what appears to be Demerzel holding a severed robot head. As we've stated earlier in the video, at some point Harry Seldon also makes his way down to Mycogen as well, and after coming into contact with one of their history books, he becomes convinced that there is also a robot still down there, a potential relic of sorts that the people of Mycogen might worship. After all, robots are the cornerstone of their religion. Could this severed head that Demerzel is holding be the robot that Harry thought was present down there? And if so, what happened to this robot, and where is the rest of its body? And more importantly, is this a robot that Demerzel herself is familiar with? And is it possible for her to resurrect it in some way, in a sort of Frankenstein's bride manner? Or is it simply an old relic from a bygone age? But judging by the look on her face when she sees it, I can't help but wonder if this is a robot that she is personally familiar with. After all, Demerzel is over 11,000 years old and was once a general during their time, which makes me wonder if this could potentially be a fellow soldier that was once under her command. Or could the look of horror on her face simply be that of shock after seeing a fellow robot for the first time in thousands of years? And how exactly did the people of Mycogen come across it and manage to keep it a secret for all these years? Whatever happens to be the case, it certainly looks like Episode 4 is shaping up to be a pretty intense episode, with multiple roads potentially leading to Mycogen, and I certainly cannot wait to see what the next episode has in store. But that is going to do it for our Episode 4 preview breakdown of Foundation. And definitely leave your thoughts and comments down below. Did Demerzel really wipe Song's memory, or did she have her unalived? And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to leave a like on your way out and consider subscribing to stay up to date on all of our upcoming Foundation videos. And as always, I want to give a big thank you to everybody out there for watching, and we will see you on the next one.
You know what this gesture is? This a blessing. The beliefs are like the fungus, hard to eradicate. Wish you luck.